What's up, fam bam? What's up, guys? How are you feeling this week? If you haven't seen the news, it's been quite hectic with all the latest information that has come in. Now, there is some somewhat good news and somewhat bad. Dr. Blitz, what's going on? 5000 series is pointless, no great games, and everyone will be on console for 6 months when GTA 6 drops. Now, of course, that could be a possibility, but who knows how the production of GTA 6 is going to be. We've all heard about their recent boiler explosion, and of course, who knows if GTA 6 ends up being delayed until the next consoles, which could even be worse for all of us. But with the 5000 series, you don't have to just get the 5000 series when it comes to GPUs. There are other options, such as what I'm just about to bring up. AMD actually pulled a champ move here. What they did is that they decided to continue creating the 9070 or the 9070 XT. So you don't have to worry about those cards really disappearing. They're going to put their main focus onto those GPUs instead of focusing on, say, the 9070, which was the standard 8GB model. The same thing goes when it comes to the 9060. They're going to produce less 8GB models and focus more on 16GB models. So that's the good news on AMD's front. But now when it comes to Nvidia, I'm sure you've heard all the news, the different speculation. Of course, that big bombshell when the whole 5070 Ti, how allegedly that they weren't going to produce anymore. Slow Biden, what's going on? I just got a ASUS TUF 5090 at my local Micro Center yesterday. Checked the listings today, and they already increased the MSRP by $200. And that is one of the subjects I certainly do want to bring up. And I hope that you were part of the previous lives. I've been trying to warn everybody about purchasing a RTX 50 series card if you certainly plan on doing so. Not just the 50 series, but on AMD cards just as well. Now, I do have to say, we are in quite a interesting crossroads when it comes to RTX or the RX 90 series cards. And that being it, the pricing is obviously going to fluctuate here. AMD is doing their best to currently hold the pricing that they are, and they're doing great. They're doing phenomenal. There's still, the pricing for the 9070 XT is still at that wonderful $600 USD. Same thing with the standard 5070. Luckily, their price is holding. Now, this is where the problem is. When you look at the 5070 Ti or any of the higher grade models, then the pricing will certainly increase because of the demand of VRAM. Now, Nvidia says that it's not going to be some sort of issue and that they are going to continue production as much as they can. And that pretty much echoed into what ASUS and what Gigabyte had to say, that there will be more production for the 16GB models for the 5070 Ti. Same thing with the RTX 5080. With the 5090, if you haven't seen the recent market with the 5090, it's been really rough. In fact, it's probably more harder to be able to even obtain a 5090, ironically, even though that's one of the more expensive cards. If you're seeing the 5090, say if you're on Newegg or any other retailer such as Amazon, more than likely it's not going to be direct from the manufacturer. For example, if you're looking for the ASUS ROG Astral RTX 5090, it's not going to be from ASUS. More than likely, it's going to end up being from a third-party manufacturer. Or not third-party manufacturer, but really someone who is trying to reap the benefits of this ongoing problem that we have with the 5090s. So you're going to see it priced up as high as $4,000 or even $5,000 for the RTX 5090. So unfortunately, that is not going to be really resolved. And it's been about, I'd say about a week since the 5090 has had a shortage. And the problem with that is until we see the stock supply from Micro Center, from Best Buy, or Newegg, it's kind of a tall tale to see exactly what truly is going on. Now, of course, with this whole issue when it comes to the wafer allocation, when it comes to memory, that is obviously plays a large part of it. they're unable to gather enough memory there in order for them to have the VRAM for those cards. But AMD seems like they are managing somewhat, but of course their memory is going to be a bit different compared to Nvidia's, as theirs is a G6 versus G7. So Tony says, Chris, why do you always have two YouTube live streams open? Do you think Nvidia is... So the two live streams are either going to be the vertical live, and the other one is going to be the other one is just a typical horizontal live. So that's why there is two, if you're curious. Now, do you think Nvidia is always working on next? Absolutely. Actually, they are working on one already. You might have heard of it. It's Ruby. So that's more than likely going to be facing the next generation, even though they're currently using it for enterprise use. The same thing goes with Blackwell. Originally, that was the first one created. So what's up, Ernesto? So of course, they're always trying to produce the next generation of cards. Now, if you're curious if there's going to be, like, say, a 50 series Super, I'm sure that raised a lot of questions out there. What's up, Darkstyle? What's up, Jamal? Is 2026 a bad year to... yes, honestly, it's a pretty rough year unless you have pretty good... unless you have a certain retailer you're able to obtain parts. So it's going to be rough for a lot of PC builders out there unless you have decent relationships with any of the brands. Now, Dark Cells, what's up? What's going on? Now, with the 50 series, with the Super, more than likely we're not going to see it. I feel like we're really not going to see it this year. Don't expect anything big. Nvidia has their GTC summit that's coming up within the next, not next month, but within the next couple of months. It's usually in March. And when they unveil it, expect it all to be AI. It's not going to be anything groundbreaking. There's nothing really going to be about gaming. And if it is, you're probably going to see something like, to be honest, like DLSS 4.6 or something, like a small upgrade. That's probably it that they'll touch on the gaming side. But I do have to say, Nvidia is currently in development of their 1NX, which is going to be their NPU, which has certainly excited a ton of people out there who is looking for a laptop that is pretty much an SoC of Nvidia. And they are actually going to come out with it in Q2 of 2026. But of course, I'm curious about how the RAM is going to be for any of these laptops, as they are certainly limited to about 8 gigabytes. Same thing with smartphones, or any type of certain upgrade that you're looking for 2026 is going to be highly questionable. More than likely, you might see the limit pushed down. 8 gigabyte almost sounds like it's impossible. It's like almost unrealistic, especially nowadays, especially if you're going to try to sell Nvidia's 1NX. Their new SoC. More than likely, I could see them compressing it down to about 16 gigabytes at the minimum. If they really push it down to 8 gigabytes, it's going to be a hard sell for many people, unless you're trying to... Thank you for subscribing, Andrew.
Subscribe to the channel.
Yes, and you have to have a decent wallet. So Dark Style says, I think the major change in the die for the 60 series, that will be the 3nm. Yes, that's true, TSMC's 3nm, so that would be wise just to buy whatever you need to hold over till then. I agree. Currently, if you are in need of graphics card, and for some reason, if you're trying to skip this whole 50 series generation, I could understand where you're coming from. You don't want to end up getting stuck into last gen. And that's a big thing. That's how it always is when it comes to tech. But to be honest, it's always really hard to keep up with tech. Even if you buy the 60 series, there's always, think of it like this, there's always going to be the next best thing that's always going to come out. So if you end up deciding to get a GPU, or you really honestly need one, it doesn't hurt to get either AMD's GPU, which is the 90 series, a great GPU. Definitely want to talk about that a bit more, especially because that is the one that is certainly more available. But I do have to bring up the top sales for Amazon for the top 10 GPUs out there. And I got to say, you can see the dynamic has started to shift, which is somewhat of a good thing. So Tony says, I have a feeling that pickpocketers will take your phone. Yeah, I mean, can you imagine trying to upgrade a phone from 2023 and you went to try to upgrade for a 2026 phone. Now, your 2023 phone probably has maybe about, say, 10 to 12 gigabytes. Now, if you upgrade to now a new phone for 2026, it may have a new processor. That'll be nice and great and all, but your RAM will be a bit more limited, down to 8 gigabytes. So you're going to have to sacrifice some RAM in order for the better processor. Now, it's almost more wise, depending on what you're using your phone for, to see how well it fares. Now, most people don't really use their phone when it comes to, like, say, like if you're using it for like post processing, like if you're a creator, or if you're using it for, say, like some sort of coding or anything like that with their phone. Then I would highly recommend like really checking it, like for the RAM usage. But other than that, that's probably it. Most people won't really notice the effect, so I think more than likely they'll end up targeting the more budget phones at first. So, Jamal says, "Do you think it would be worth waiting for Arrow Lake's refresh? Prices will usually for Intel stay the same on release and not get price spikes like Nvidia." Okay, so that's a great question. Now, when it comes to processors, you won't really have to worry about any upticks when it comes to CPUs. Reason being is because it's a whole different die. They're not really, they don't really communicate with each other. It's a whole different wafer, so they can have a bit more of a yield. And with Arrow Lake refresh, it's certainly a good one to wait for. That honestly, that's one of the processors that I'm certainly waiting on as well myself, because we do have a Gigabyte Ors that is the 890 waiting to get built. Now the new ones are going to be the 270K, and you have the 290K. 270K is going to be great for a lot of those gamers out there that's looking for more gaming performance, or if you're looking for a bit more multitasking performance. Now, when it comes to like the 290K, that one's going to be more for, like, say, either more creator use, or you're going to be using it for, say, like graphic design. So I'd say it's going to be worth it. It's not going to be a crazy IPC uplift over the original Arrow Lake. Hopefully it's at least, I'm hoping at least 15 or 20% uplift, but that's like really high hopes there. But it's certainly worth the wait. And I feel that the pricing is going to be very fair for something for just like for these CPUs. Now, the other parts that are going to increase in pricing, I can certainly say, is ironically, it's not the CPU, it's going to be the CPU cooler. Now, that's rumored to go up in price because of the type of metals that they're using, which is like the copper, which has gone up in pricing. If you look at the spot pricing for a lot of this stuff, that has gone up. Same thing with the power supplies. Power supplies are expected to go up in price at least between 15 to 20% itself. So you can expect the pricing to go up because of that. It has nothing to do, like, say, with the RAM, but for the RAM side, it's more or so because the wafer allocation when it comes to a lot of these fabs. Now, it seems that Micron has certainly done something a bit more interesting. It's either Micron, I think it's either Micron or SK Hynix. They have actually wanted to purchase PSMC, which is from Taiwan, another smaller semiconductor company, so that way they can produce more wafers. Now, they're kind of betting on themselves that they are assuming that they will make more sales with these wafers, which is a good thing for us, because that would indicate that if they can produce more of these wafers, then that would bring more into the public eventually. But the problem is, how much will OpenAI, or say Google Gemini, or Copilot, or any of these other AI platforms are going to take from these wafer allocations. So let's see. Darkstyle says, what is the Nvidia CPU? So that's going to be based for laptops, as mentioned a bit earlier, which is the 1NX, I believe it's called. And for this CPU, it's a SoC, similar to like what you see with Apple Silicon, where it has like an all-in-one type of CPU or SoC, where it's going to have everything embedded into there, so it could have a bit more battery life. So it's supposed to be a much more improved version of its original SoC, which was like, you're probably more, if you're familiar with Tegra, it's going to be improved over that. So it's more about battery, it's more about graphical power, and it's supposed to be a lot more competitive against the SoCs such as Snapdragon. and the M1. So it's supposed to compete against that. And of course, they are thinking of also coming out with handhelds as well. So, for example, if you're interested in something like the ASUS ROG Ally or like the MSI Claw or any of these handhelds, they are working on producing something that you can take portably and game on as well, which is something that everybody would love, a portable Nvidia handheld device, but just imagine the premium on it. Now, Tony says Epic Gamer is, in my opinion, Thermalright needs to calm down with the cooler markets. Well, that's how big they are getting into it. Yes, pretty much like ARM. Shibi, what's going on? Good to see you. Jamal says, do you think the desktop Nova Lake will actually get released? That's it's hard to say. Now, the reason why I say it's hard to say is because Nova Lake is sort of expected to release like DDR6. Now, DDR6 is supposed to come into the light sometime soon, because when you really think about it, DDR5 actually has been in the market for quite some time. It's been released since 2021. So it's about 5 years has passed, and usually we enter like a whole new generation of RAM. Now, it's certainly, they do have DDR6 available, but not for consumer usage. So it was kind of an indication that Nova Lake would move into the whole DDR6 phase. Maybe even to PCI Express 6, which I doubt. It's more than likely going to have that kind of compatibility originally what they had when it came to Intel's Alder Lake, where they had DDR4 and DDR5, and I believe they're going to do something along the lines of that. So when they do come out with Nova Lake, I don't think it's going to be 100% completion of what you can expect out the processor. And expect out of their chipset. So expect that they will have just the DDR5 variant. I don't expect them to start pushing like DDR6 anytime soon, especially the way things are, especially today. So 2985 says, what do I think of the new... It's funny that you've asked that, because I feel that's quite controversial with the whole MSI monitors here. If you guys haven't heard about these monitors, they're quite advanced to where, like, if you're into, say, like first-person shooters, or if you're into like any type of like real competitive gameplay, for example, you get blinded by like a flashbang or something. After you get flashbang, apparently you can recover like a second or even like a second and a half quicker compared to your competitors. So everybody gets a flashbang, and then you're going to be the one recovering a lot quicker because of the technology that this monitor has. It's almost like I can't put my finger on the name of it, but it's practically like they call it this AI software that can help you see a whole lot better in the game, and it even has like pretty much like an aimbot built into the monitor. So you can imagine the type of gamers that are going to be using it, especially like the ones that didn't enjoy Black Ops 7, that didn't have aim assist. Well, this monitor will certainly help you with that. So I don't agree with it. I don't like it. I get the idea. I get they're trying to make bank off of it, but that just takes away the whole competitive gameplay. I think it's, to be honest, I think it's BS. So King Claus, what's going on? Alternate German hardware store has the 15. Oh, really? That's insane. And that's an actual supplier, right? So 3,949 euros they actually have it for. And yeah, no problem, Jamal. Thank you for subscribing. I want to show you guys this actually. It's going to be, I want to show you the top 10 GPUs that actually sold on Amazon here. Now, this is from WCCF. Oh, I apologize, guys. This is from WCCF. Hit the wrong button there. If you take a look here, if you take a look at the chart here, you can see that the number one, of course I do that. Let me go back to it. Okay. So the number one GPU that's being sold is a short form factor GPU, and that's the 5070. okay? Because that's, of course, the pricing. Now, the number two thing that sold, I don't know why the bracket's in there. It doesn't make any sense. Do you think 5090 will? I think it's already going to hit it, to be honest. Once you start seeing it restocked, you're going to see quite the price. The pricing's going to be insane when you see it. It's going to hit like that 4,000 to 5,000 mark. If you haven't seen it already. If you look on Amazon and you want to purchase a 5090, you're going to see those prices. But remember, a lot of the prices that you are seeing now is going to be from third-party retailers. So I'm really curious, like when places like Micro Center, Newegg can be a bit questionable sometimes when they receive their product, but because as you guys know, they do like to do lottery picks. Like when it comes to Newegg, where raffles they call it, where you can actually join the raffle in order to be able to obtain, say, a RTX 5090. And if you join the raffle, of course, you get a motherboard or a display or something with it, so that way they can sell the products that they don't want. So until then, we'll have an indication of exactly what's going on. I'd say like within about the end of this week, we'll have a better idea. And of course, we'll check it out on Saturday's stream. In fact, I was actually even tempted to go to Micro Center to purchase a RTX 5070 Ti just in case. I ended up reserving one, but I didn't end up going because of the timing. The timing was just really bad. But eventually I do want to make my way over there, and we're going to take a look in person to see how everything is. We could ask some questions to the Micro Center reps to see if we could get some answers on some of these things. Of course, I am curious to see where it's going to head. As the whole RAM situation certainly hasn't gotten better. In fact, the price increasing has constantly gone up, and it's not shifted the other way yet. So, Dark South says, I want that Gigabyte from, oh, you want the 5090 Infinity. That was quite an interesting GPU, I gotta say. That was a very interesting GPU. It's like this thick, and the fans are like this big. They're literally like 140 millimeter fans. Like literally, it seems like for CES, everything is either bigger, like everything's bigger and more airflow, and pretty much OLED screens. And same thing with CPU displays. But I gotta say, it's been interesting though. Simon says, yo, I finally fixed the M choice. Oh yeah, so what was it? Yeah, because I knew it. So it had to be the USB port. I'm glad you figured it out. So King Claus asked about the Astral. What is the AVG price for the Astral in the US? Great question. So the pricing currently for the Astral in the US right now, it should be priced around $3,300. That's its normal pricing. So until we actually get some Astrals in stock at Micro Center, then we'll have a good indication of exactly how much it is. In fact, we could go to Micro Center and check it out just in case. So for the number 3 spot is going to be the RTX 5060 8GB model. Unfortunately, for it seems that Nvidia is doing the opposite. They want to get rid more of the 16 gigabytes and higher and make room for more 8GB models for gamers. So you're going to see more 5060s and 5070s. That's why the pricing's not so bad on them. They're supposed to be expected to continue producing as well. Now, when it comes to Nvidia's production, when it comes to anything that's higher than 16 gigabytes or that 16 gigabyte limit, the 5060 Ti is going to be less produced. They are producing it technically, but just not as much. Same thing with the 5070 Ti. They are producing it, but not as much. 5080, same thing goes. And you can imagine the 5090 is going to be definitely a lot tighter because of how much it honestly requires, how much VRAM it requires. And that's why the 50 series supers, you haven't seen them pop up, because they know it's going to require more VRAM, because that was where the demand was. So let's see, USB 2 is better for magnetic keyboards because it's electrically quieter and stable. USB 5 is or 10 gigabits is much faster, but creates more electrical noise. Interesting. So I thought it might be small like the FE. For which one? 4,000 plus. Now it's 4,000 plus. It's going up that dramatically. So the Gigabyte Infinity has that hidden third fan in the middle. Exactly. Yep, that's right, top. Yep, you remember. So it has that hidden fan right in the middle of it. It has like the 140 millimeter fans, and then like right directly in the middle, it's like a little 80 millimeter fan. Nobody would notice it because it's like vented and it's covered. But if you look closely, you shine it into the light, you can actually see that third fan that's inside of that GPU. So squeeze, what's going on? Is that your CPU cooler is hard to get? Really, which CPU cooler? It's not as expensive. You just can't find it anywhere. Which one? Thermal, right? That's like the deep cool cooler I got currently on this PC. I was wondering like where deep cool was like at CES because I didn't realize that they were banned like for the last 2 years. And here I am with still having a deep cool CPU cooler. So it's probably a good idea to replace it anyway. Maybe I didn't think that it could be a problem since mechanical keyboards, but I just learned something. Hey, it's always a learning journey, I gotta say. Now, finally, the number 5 spot. Do you guys see what's in the number 5 spot now? They have the Power Colors Reaper AMD RX 9060 XT. So that's starting to rise up on the list. Number 6 is going to be ASUS's Tough 5060 Ti. So the 5060 Ti is obviously one of the more popular models because it has 16 gigabytes. Then they have the GeForce RTX 5060 Ti, 5070, 5060, and you notice the pattern here. It's either 9060 or the 5060 Ti. Nobody's really gunning for the 5070s. I feel that is more of the current situation. That's why you're seeing less and less. If we take a look at Micro Center here, which we will right now, we're going to see exactly how it's going to look here. Here it is. So here's Micro Center. And if you take a look at some 5070 Ti's here, we're at the Phoenix location we put it in. Okay, now it's in Miami's location. So we're going to put 5070 Ti. And then you can get a good indication of how it's looking now. Now you see the pricing, it's already upticked. Remember just a week ago, you can get it for easily around about $800. $800, $850, $900 would be on the border. You would get one of those higher grade models, like something like the ROG Strix 5070 Ti you would get. But now you look at it, you get the Prime for $1,000. You know what the Prime is like on ASUS's line? So you have the Prime's actually the first line when it comes to ASUS. Then it goes Tough, ASUS Tough. And then you have the ROG Strix, which is the third line. And then the top of the line is going to be the ROG, which is going to be either the ROG Astral or anything like that. So you have 4 lines, and now the Strix is $1,009. And this is from Micro Center, which tries to price fairly when it comes to their GPUs. So Simon says, I feel like if you get into the world of PCs, you can't escape it. I already built my PC a few months ago, and I still know every single news about new launches and overall. It's addictive. I got to tell you, it's one of those addictive traits. Like once you have a PC, it's really hard to not track anything. Now, when it comes to anybody that is out there, I know some of you guys out there are probably lurking and thinking, maybe should I switch to PC? It's 2026. Maybe that's some of your New Year's resolutions out there that you want to switch over to a PC. Now, it's not all bad news. I'll tell you that. It's definitely 100% better than console. And if you disagree, that's fine. You can disagree, but until you actually have it, you're going to feel that you're never going to go back to console. You're never going to want to look at another Sony PlayStation or a Microsoft Xbox. And that's just the truth of it. Most people that go into PCs will never go back to consoles after that. Take a look at the statistics of how many people actually build PCs and that they never go back into consoles. I've never seen that trade-off before. So anyway, to get to the point, so MSI's Nvidia GeForce RTX 5070 Ti, as you see here listed, now it's going to be $844.99. Now that's the most fair price and the most reasonable price that there is, but you take a look at their current quantity. Now it's lessened quite a bit. If you guys wanted to check out my last week's stream, say the same time of Wednesday, check it out because you're going to see over 20 RTX 5070 Ti's in stock. Over 20. And they had plenty from MSI's Shadow, over 20. MSI's Nvidia's Ventus, over 20. Now, ASUS's Prime, I don't think they really had any, but they did have the tough 5070 Ti. And that was not $1,000. That was a bit closer to the $800 range. Now, /build says, yes, it really is. Would baby oil be a good... Give it a shot. Let us know. Experiment. Doesn't hurt to experiment, right? So, yeah, exactly. It doesn't hurt to try. Still Chill says, hey, I just upgraded my 3060, 12 gigabytes to a 5070 Ti. Do you say that it was for a bottleneck for a 10700K, or was it worth me? I mean, you still can do it. It doesn't hurt it. It's still going to be very playable. If you're using your 5070 Ti mostly for, I'm assuming that you're planning to game on it, it's not going to cause a major bottleneck. The more of the bottlenecks would happen are going to be the titles that are most demanding, such as Unreal Engine 5. You go to any of these Unreal Engine 5 titles, it can be a bit more demanding onto your CPU and pull a bit more, and that's where you might get a little bottleneck, but most games you should be okay. As long, like for example, if you like Battlefield 6, you're going to be fine. If you like games such as like most games, you're going to be okay. It's just the Unreal Engine 5 ones you would have to watch for. So it's really not really a bottleneck, but yes, I might do the upgrade. So the bottleneck, when they talk about bottlenecks here, you want to get the bottleneck in your GPU because it's always going to pull 100%. That's what you want to see. Now, if you start to see the split, like for example, your GPU is pulling say 70%, and then your CPU is pulling like 80 or 90, then you're getting that bottleneck. But you're not going to see it on something like on most titles. You'll still be fine because a lot of it's still going to be heavily reliant on your GPU. So let's take a look at the 5080, guys, because the 5080 is another one a lot of people have questions for. And maybe you're thinking, I know some people out there are thinking of upgrading, say, their 5070 Ti to maybe a 5080 or a 5090. It's one of those trades where if you have currently a 5070 Ti, at this current market now, it's not really worth trading for a 5080 unless you're planning to go all out and going 5090. But even then, it's not going to be really useful to you unless you have serious means for the 5090. You plan on going full out 4K at 330 hertz or something like that. Then I can see you really trying to push for it. But again, it's more or so when it comes to the actual graphics. When it comes to the 50 series, we're not quite on that level yet to where I believe we're going to see in the 60 series. Hence why they cut that whole GTX line, or that whole GTX line. They just completely removed it. And I believe on the next generation, whether they call it the RTX 6000 series, or if they're going to completely change it, maybe to PTX for path tracing or something like that, I could see them going that route, or maybe even call it like, say, AI 100 or something. They probably would do something like that at this point because how they want to promote AI in such a positive light. I could see them just completely changing the series, and then from there you're going to see much more of an uplift, especially if you're trying to game, like say, without like things like frame generation. Of course, you have things like DLSS 4.5 that can help you. But with the 5080 from, again, 5070 Ti to 5080, if you're trying to upgrade to a 5080, it's not going to be a massive leap. You're going to see not large gains. It's going to be meant for those. If you're deciding between, say, a new build, then it would be a bit more ideal. Now, do you run your ASUS Noctua 5080 in quiet or performance? I usually run it on quiet because the reason being I use my 5080 on situations just like now. I use it for streaming. I use it for things like I use it more for production usage for that 5080. For the 5090, that's the one where I will really try to push it for other tasks. So Still Chill says, I'm planning to get the Ultra 265K. It's an awesome processor. They do have a lot of great deals to where you can get the processor and get games with it. It's going to happen soon. Right now, you're probably not going to see too many sales. It's usually the first quarter when it comes to PC components or PC hardware. You're not going to see like a lot of great deals. The better deals start coming in about like February and March. Because everything is like still kind of new. They're going to get rid of some stuff. So Simon says, I mean, hater is a big word, but you get the point. PC is usually better than consoles. However, like someone like PlayStation or Xbox can definitely be better. Yeah, I can agree. I do agree. Like it can be nice to just, I know there's people out there that prefer to game on a console that just like sits out, chills out on their couch and just plays. But of course, that again, it's more for those that aren't like really truly competitive. For the players that want to truly be competitive, you know what it's actually good for? It's more, I'd say it's better for those who are a bit more casual when it comes to the gaming side. Now, for those who really want to push to the next limit, then I say like PC is certainly the better option. And then you do even have gamers out there that will hook up their PC to the TV, which is easy enough as it is. So Monster Hunters and anything with Unreal Engine 5, Black Myth Wukong, buy Astral 5080 or 5090. 50, yes, 5090 will be double the price. Now, my question to you, Leo, are you going to be using it for what type of display will you be using it for? And what's your setup like? Let us know. And then we can kind of get a good indication of whether if it's better for you to have a 5080 or 5090. But the 5080, you can really get away with a lot. I've seen the RTX 5080 run on 5K and even 6K displays, and it ran fine, but it's not going to run probably at that. Say if you're looking for very high refresh rate at a very high resolution, the 5080 is more than likely not going to push for something like that. So, what should I get for the AMD Ryzen 5 8400F? Now, when it comes to the 8400F, it's limited when it comes to your PCI Express bus. So once you install, say, a GPU in there, you're going to be pretty much like locked into X16. That's the first thing I have to mention. And also, don't put in too many NVMEs because then you will limit the power when it comes to your GPU, because it can only share so much bandwidth when it comes to the PCI Express. Now, for the GPU, you can honestly get any GPU that you like. You won't have any issues. My biggest thing is you don't want to overuse the M.2 drives onto that motherboard currently until you say get like a 9600X. Then you have a bit more bandwidth when it comes to your PCI Express. So that's what I would recommend. So Z-Man Car says, let me see. Not too long ago, I picked up the 5070 Ti for my secondary PC for MSRP, considering trading up for a 5080. $260 more, but that's dependent. Yes, and that, just as I mentioned, because of the current volatility, it might not be 100% worth it. In fact, we could take a look at Micro Center. They actually have a trade chart here, or we could go even on Newegg. They have a trade chart as well. Now, say you want to trade in a GPU. I'll just look it up. It'll come up. So trade in GPU, and right here, trade in consultation. So let's take a look here. They'll have a chart of exactly how much they value your GPU currently. So let's take a look here, because I know some of you guys are curious. Now, I wonder if they updated the chart. Let's see. Here we go. So it says schedule your free consultation. I know they got a chart here. Trade in program. They have the time slots. And no, these are all questions. Where is their schedule? That's their schedule. You know what? We'll go to Newegg. We'll check out Newegg because it'll be a bit more clear. GPU trade-in. And that way, you can have an idea of how much you can get for your GPU if you chose to trade it in. So right here, here's the chart here. This is what I'm talking about. So currently, I know this is going to be needed to get up to date for sure, because if you trade in your GPU, I would for example, the RTX 5070 Ti, actually it's gone up a little bit. Originally, the RTX 5070 Ti, if you traded it in, it was going to cost at the minimum of $300 at the minimum. So it's gone up to $450. So if you're planning to trade in with Newegg, you would select the 5080 Ti and trade it in. Say that you have the 4080 Super, $620. So it seems like the pricing has adjusted a little bit, but of course, for those who have a RTX 4080 Super, are going to be hesitant to trade it in for just $650. Now the 5090, if you have it, they'll give you $1,500. I wouldn't even trade it in. Because look at the 4090. The 4090, you can get $1,200. That makes no sense. So for $300 more, you trade in your RTX 5090 for just like practically $300 more. What's the point of that? LSG, what's going on? Good to see you. So build last month the following. Yeah, feel free. Post your build for anyone that wants to show off their builds or show off their PC build pictures. Feel free to join in on our Discord, and I will be happy to share it with the chat. So still chill the i3 14100. So let me see. Okay, Kalis, please, friends. I want a good GPU that's a good price and also play Fortnite. Now, Kalis, I do have to say, if you want a good GPU and you just want to play a game simple as Fortnite, honestly, a RX 9070 XT would be great for you. Now, I know it doesn't get enough attention, to be, in my opinion. It's actually one of the best GPUs that you can honestly get when it comes to a PC, especially when it comes to value and performance. If you want one of the best, I feel like since you are a Fortnite fan, you'd be more than happy with either the 9060 XT or the 9070, and it's not going to cost as much. If we take a look right here at Micro Center, if even Newegg, we'll just look on Newegg. Take a look at the RX 9060, right? Since you're more of a Fortnite gamer, if you're not looking to play on the top, like more of the higher titles, this would be great. In fact, they have the ASRock Steel Legend RX 9060 XT for $420. So there is such thing as still affordable GPUs out there. Of course, you can't be picky and say, I don't want a AMD card. I want to get an Nvidia card. Honestly, this will satisfy anybody's needs out there. Anybody that has a AMD card will tell you the same thing. Even those who swapped from, say, an Nvidia 30 series and went to AMD. It's honestly one of the better cards. So for a great deal, you can get this 9060 XT, $420, 16 gigabytes. Again, this one would certainly be one of the better ones to go for. So, and King Claw says it's insane. Yeah, I think it's insane too. For $1,900 for a 5080 Astral, you're like touching the point of what a 5090 Founders Edition could be. But I do regret one thing, FanBam, is the fact that I did not end up getting the Founders Edition when I got that email last September. I should have went to get the 5090 when I had the chance. So, are they continuing any other 50 series cards other than the 5070 Ti? Great question. Now, to answer your question, G, about the 5070 Ti, about the discontinuations, they are planning to still produce it. Now, I know there's been some sort of mix-up with the whole wording when it came with the 5070 Ti about it being end of life, but it's not. They are still going to produce it, but it's just going to be much more minimal. So instead of shipping out, say, their 150 70 Ti's, they're going to ship now maybe 30 or 40 of them. So it's going to be less produced. So that's going to be the big key. So they'll still have them. It's just not going to be as frequent. And expect them, once they get delivered to the store, to be pretty much sold out at that point. Unless you're there waiting for them to come in. So Phobius Angela Kiss says, the 9950X3D Thermal Grizzly Ceiling X870 Hero G-Skill Trident 64GB Z5 Neo RGB CPSU. Let me see. Let me just highlight you real quick so I can show the chat here. Let me see. I lost you up here. There we go. So, ceiling Neo RGB Thor 1200 watt Platinum 3. SN 8144 terabyte Astral 5080 overclock Arctic Liquid Freezer 360 Pro. Yeah, you got the hookup. That's an amazing build, I gotta say. Please send it in Discord. Would love to see it. And I gotta ask you, are you tempted to switch over to the 9950X3D2 if they have the extra V cache? So I'm curious for anybody out there that is still interested in that. In fact, I haven't got to throw out a poll. I'll throw up a poll for everybody. So I will throw up a poll for you guys, and feel free to answer. It's going to, in order for you to activate the poll or answer the poll, you just simply hit 1 or 2. So the poll will be, let's see, it's going to be, are you looking to purchase a GPU in 2026? So that'll be the question, and the poll is up.
At LSG_626 became a member.
Oh, awesome. Thank you for becoming a member once again. So, again, yeah, feel free to join the roundtable. 100% worth it. We have a roundtable at the Discord channel. And of course, you will get shout outs. And again, it's extremely a great deal. It's not nowhere priced as Xbox Game Pass. So anyway, to vote on this poll, you just simply put 1 or 2. So are you looking to purchase a GPU in 2026? If you are, put 1. If you're not, put 2. Of curiosity. So I would love to know everyone that is in the market right now to purchase a GPU. And then I will have a follow-up question afterwards. So are you looking to purchase a GPU? So if just purchase a 9070 XT and the 9600X. And let me, it's funny too, because I'm trying to get everybody here. Let's see. Right here, it says just purchase a 9070 XT and a 9600X. What's a good value motherboard with a Wi-Fi? Great question. Wi-Fi. Is there a specific Wi-Fi you're looking for? Are you looking for Wi-Fi 7 or you're looking for Wi-Fi 6E? Does it matter to you? Or are you looking for something a bit more on the fair pricing? I can't speak for Sapphire. Certainly interested in Sapphire. I think they have some great motherboards. They have an X870, which is going for a great deal. In fact, let's look it up. I don't know if it's available yet though. Sapphire X870. Let's take a look here, guys. This might be something you're interested in. And no, not yet. I think that would be great. Okay, so since usually I recommend like the ASUS Tough series. They're usually pretty good to get. Say the ASUS X870. They are coming out with the Neo series if you're looking for something a bit more up to date. These ones should be pretty much on a lower sale. Again, $210 for like the X870 is a pretty good deal. This has Wi-Fi 7 and it is an X870 board, so you get all the X870 features such as up to say 24x PCI Express 5. So you can get the full benefits of having a AM5 processor. So this is something I highly recommend if you are looking for something like under $100 or in more than $100 range. You have the MSI Tomahawk, which is a good choice, which is B850. Here, I'll show you MSI B850 Tomahawk. They do have this one, and they also have the variants. Yeah, at that point, for that price, that doesn't make sense. All right, let me go. Don't get the B850. That doesn't make sense. X870. Not X879. Let's see. There we go. Okay, so there you go. So the better deal is definitely Tough. Get the Tough X870. This is $260. Another great motherboard to have. If you prefer MSI, that's one thing. But if you don't mind going with ASUS's Tough, that would be definitely a great choice for you. So, Gene Thee says the 9950X3D is plenty for me. I had to renew it. Apple is having issues with this. I've noticed that. It's been a bit odd with the whole subscriptions. Chris, I'm out here hoping why do you want your RAM slot broken? It's funny, they've been like testing it, like to see how vertical can you get your how vertical can you get your DDR uh, your memory into your motherboard, and if it would snap if you bent it all the way. And of course, you can imagine like what kind of answers people got with that. So, um, thank you for coming in as always, Simon. Let me see. So Newegg still has the MSI. Really? Underwater. Shout out to Underwater. That's a great call. That's a great motherboard to get. I love this board here. I'm kind of disappointed when I was at CES. I was hoping that they would display the Carbon out a bit more, but they didn't. They actually had it on their test bench. And the Carbon's like a really great motherboard. This has $60 off, so remember to put that promo code in there. And if you're interested in it, again, feel free to check down in the description box, as I do have like a lot of this stuff down there. So make sure to check it. And if it's, or click the Newegg link and just let it take you to the MSI X870E Carbon. You know what's really good too recently, that Newegg has offers. You can actually even make an offer if you can't do this, even with the $60 off, which is going to be what, $370. You could offer them like maybe $350 or $360, and they might take the deal and let you buy it for a lower price. But the MSI Carbons, actually, I put that online with the ASUS. Like if you're compared to ASUS, I would put it in line with the ROG Strix E-Gaming when it comes to the MSI boards. Even with the Gigabyte Aorus, what is it? Not the Master, I'm thinking of the other one. The Gigabyte Aorus, it's the Ice, like pretty much like it's in line with those type of motherboards right there. But that's definitely a good deal if you are willing to spend a bit more. So people say there's not that much difference between B650 and B850 other than the M.2. Yeah, that's what it pretty much is. That's going to be the biggest difference between the two. Like when it comes to those motherboards there, is going to be really the chipset difference when it comes to PCI Express 5. There's also a difference when it comes to USB-C. Now, when you go up to the higher chipset, like the X870E, they switch up the two USB-Cs, and they also have it a different, it has to have 5 gigabit Ethernet ports. So if you look at any X870E board, it's going to be at the 5 gigabit limit at the least. So so far, do you expect any new socket changes and motherboard for Intel? Yes, for Intel, yes. They're supposed to switch it up to, it's going to be LGA 1954, it's going to be. And that's going to be based on Nova Lake when that happens. Nova Lake should be dropping in 2026, late of 2026 this year. Typically, they release their new processors around, I'd say, like October. That is their typical timeline when it comes to Intel. It may change, especially with the new CEO that's running everything. So that's when you can expect a different socket then. It's going to be called something else. It's not going to be called Z890. They might even switch it up. I don't even think they're going to call it Z990. They're going to switch up the naming scheme and kind of start fresh once more. But it's going to be quite interesting to see what Intel decides to do. Now, when it comes to Arrow Lake refresh on Intel, expect Arrow Lake refresh to end up coming out within the next.
Yes, Death Mommy just subscribed.
Thank you for subscribing. Certainly appreciate it. Now, when it comes to Arrow Lake, expected to be around March. That's when you should expect 270K and 290K for those who are looking for the Intel processors. Now, you got the B850 Tomahawk Mag. Yes. If you got it for a good deal, that's different. But I'm looking at the pricing wise. I feel like it's not a good deal now because you might as well get the X870 for that price. That's my motherboard. The X. Yeah, definitely be proud of it. So I got the PC off of eBay for $240. The RX 580 and the i7 4770. Did I get a good deal or no? I mean, yeah. I mean, it's, you only spent $240. It is quite. It's quite a while ago. That's like 10, 11 years ago. The processor. But you still, believe it or not, you still can game. There's a lot of games you can actually game on. And I feel this is something everybody should do. Like if you still have a gaming rig, and you say you're not up to spec, but you really, really want to switch to like a new generation, just play a lot of older games. There's a ton of older games that you can really play to keep you occupied until you have the extra money to really get the new PCs. I honestly, when it comes to PC gaming, it's always going to be around. I don't think it's going anywhere. At first, I was kind of worried. I was really honestly worried for a lot of us hobbyists out there, or a lot of us PC enthusiasts, worried about PC building and that we can't do what we love. But I think eventually we'll go back to it. And I gotta say, it's pretty funny. What I don't know if you guys heard what Jensen said, and he said that he's blaming he's blaming us gamers or everybody out there that's calling AI slop, and we're giving AI such a bad name because we're not using it properly. From what he's saying, it's not being used properly. So he's saying it could be we're slowing down progress. That's what he's practically saying. We're slowing down progress, the progression of humans. So, bro, bad news. Had to spend money just in case. Without lights, pray for us. We will be in the red hole. Oh no. Different, better VRMs if you're gonna go overclock. So, I think you paired it with a 9600 and a 4070 12 gigabytes. So, Chris, let's be honest. I didn't get it for only games. I am going to. Okay, now that makes sense. That makes more sense. Because if you're going to be doing LLMs, then it makes more sense. Not even 5090 is enough. Yes. Again, it's like, it depends how large of a learning model you're trying to create. Let me know how I'm just curious. Like, once you start really pushing it, let me know what your electric bill's like. For everyone that's interested in LLMs, let me know. And SDEF Mommy says, so I have an RX 6800 XT. I am thinking of getting the AMD. Let me just catch up down here real quick. So I have the RX 6800 XT. I am thinking of getting a AMD Ryzen 7 7800 X3D. I have 3060 12 gigabytes right now, and the AMD Ryzen 7500F. Is it going to be a good upgrade? So you're thinking of switching to, yes, actually it's going to be quite the difference. Even though it doesn't sound like it's going to be like a huge upgrade, it's going to actually help you a whole lot, especially with the Vcache, especially if you're looking for the gaming usage. Now, if you're talking about upgrade wise, like if you're expecting to get like a massive frame boost, it's not going to be like a massive, like large frame boost like you're getting a brand new GPU, but it will certainly help your frames, of course, if you get the 7800 XT. You're not going to limit the bandwidth when it comes to your PCI Express, which 7500F and a lot like say the 7500G, like those type of processors there will limit the bandwidth when it comes to your PCI Express. So it will allow your GPU to breathe a bit more. And plus now you have the Vcache in there that will certainly help you enjoy your games a bit more. So the Vcache will activate as soon as you game. So you can certainly expect it to go up. And make sure to turn on your PBO, enable PBO. That'll be good to go. And make sure if you are willing to, you can even adjust your curve optimizer too. So it looks like in the poll, we have a good 50-50 mix. It seems like so far people are kind of mixed on about upgrading their GPU. Understandably so. Of course, the whole GPU issue is very real. So my next question to everybody out there is going to be, what is holding you back from purchasing a GPU? What is holding you back? Is it so I'm going to ask it like this. Is it going to be, is pricing holding you back from purchasing a GPU? So that will be the next question on the poll, and it will activate. So let me get down to Dark Style Tech. Yeah, the Pro 6000. Now Squeeze says, I want 5 5090s in my PC. That'd be wonderful if you ended up getting that. It would be a killer PC. But that's a dream for me. Phobius, there are empty pads for VRAM on the GTX I'm assuming you meant the 1060 because a lot of models use the same motherboard as the 1080, like mine's. So, okay, Chris Charisma. I hope I have plenty of charisma, guys. So anyway, let's look up the RTX 5080 and take a look on Newegg's version of it. Again, there it is, Astral, the ASUS ROG Astral there. So the ASUS ROG Astral is $1,900. That's nearly equivalent of a RTX 5090. Like at that point, it's like if you saw, I'm just curious, like for everybody out there, if you saw anybody with a RTX 5080 ASUS Astral, would you congratulate them or would you ask them why? I'm really curious about the reaction to it. Now, of course, it's a very interesting GPU. And reason being is because when you take a look at it here, it actually has a fourth fan, of course, on the back of it. That's what makes it special. Of course, it's a bit heavier. And you can pretty much guess the way they have their, how the way the airflow works when it comes to a ASUS ROG Astral. Now it's going to pretty much intake the air here and kind of push it out towards the back. So it's going to intake and breathe out. So it's going to, or like actually just like intake, and then breathe out toward the back. So you can activate all four fans to do so. And of course it comes with like these little extras, nothing too crazy. Some people are not a big fan. I've seen a lot of people on the shorts that are not a big fan of ASUS's standoffs when it comes to their GPUs, and understandably so. They're afraid that'll knock over somehow, but again, it's not a car. It's not going down the road. It's not going to hit potholes. It's just a PC, so it's not going to fall. And it is, and for anyone that is curious about the material on the bottom of it, it is usually they're magnetic on the bottom as well, so it won't really go anywhere. So Squeeze says let's see, we have the 3,000 watts into 12 volts, 3,000. That's insane. Dark Style says, I'm looking for a GPU as a backup for my 5090. Awesome choice. If you're choosing to get a backup GPU next to your 5090, I know it's not going to be an easy choice, but there are options while they last. So if you are looking for a backup, I'm telling you, 9070 XT might surprise you. Might be pretty comfortable. It's not expensive. Again, you could get a 9070 XT for a awesome price. Yeah, it would all depend on the cost. So far, we have one vote. It says no. Price is not holding back anyone from purchasing a GPU. And now, in order to vote, you can't click on the poll. In order to vote, you just simply put 1 or 2 to move the poll. So now, currently, okay, so it's actually gone up a little bit. Now on Newegg, it's gone up. Now for ASRock, for their Challenger Radeon RX 9070 XT, it's $730. Now let's look on Micro Center here. Micro Center has a bit more of a fair deal. When you take a look at Micro Center's deal here, let's look. This is why I like to look everywhere. Oh, by the way, guys, like before we saw, oh man, it did go up in price. I just saw it, guys. It did go up in price. What the hell? Okay. Before we click into it, I want to show you guys this Dell Alienware Aura PC. And you're probably like, why? Why are you showing me this pre-built PC? And there is a reason why. Now this, oh, it won't let me even click on it anymore. That's crazy. There's probably a good reason why. Or maybe it's just it's probably a banner to go into another page. Maybe they don't have it anymore. Well, anyway, the reason why I wanted to click on this really quick was because it's an Alienware Aura PC that has a RTX 5080 for $2,200, and it has 32 gigabytes of RAM. So, but of course, it's only 5200 megahertz, so it's not going to be the fastest RAM, but at least it's some RAM, and it comes with a 285K. Honestly, not a bad deal if you wanted to strip it. So if anyone really needs a 5080 for your build and you wanted to strip it and kind of make some money off of it, you technically could, if you really think about it, because the 5080 alone is about $1,500, $1,500 today. So, Fovius Angelic, uh, Angelicus, if I said that right, having paid 1.9 euros for Astral, it keeps troubling me. If I should go 5070 Ti or RIP my wallet and go for the 5090, all choices suck depending on what you want to go with. I get it. Yeah, I 100% get it. Especially you don't want to spend the extra money. Now my question is, of course, there's always a return period if you are thinking of going 5080. Now, I do know you have the option because you are looking to do a bit more than the average person. You are looking to build LLMs. And if that's the case, of course, it would be the better option to go 5090 if you can. But if you aren't really, if you're a bit more tighter on the budget, which is understandable, everybody has to go through it every once in a while. What if you are tighter on your budget, but you do want to get something decent, the 5070 Ti will certainly impress you, especially if you're going to be using it. It still will be great, even if you're using it for LLMs. You could do things like, you could do local programs like Llama and things like that, and you'd be happy with it. So, Dark Solid Tech says, I seen a 9070 XT at Micro Center for 600, so it might be a good choice for AMD software drivers. It's a 5080 laptop. Intel is hot sand. No, it was actually a full on case. It was it right here. That was it right there. So, for me, the perfect 5080 is the Founders Edition size and price. Just could never find one. It's not easy to find Founders Edition. And when you do, it's going to be on eBay. And you for a crazy amount of money. Now, let's take a look at the 9070 XT. And it seems that, unfortunately, I think the pricing has gone up a bit. A bit more than I'd like to say. Yes. Ah, damn it. This sucks for all gamers out there. It just went up 50 bucks. So again, we've been tracking this within the last few days. It was at $600 for this RX 9070 XT. A great GPU. In fact, it was even as low. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it was as low as $580. But now it's $650 to get it. Still a great GPU and still a decent price. But it seems like it's gone up a little bit in pricing. So it has every other 9070 XT. The Power Color AMD Radeon RX 9070 XT is now $800. The Power Color Red Devil, $850. The Sapphire went up again, $810. Yes, everything went up $50, just about. Everything did. So it wasn't just Newegg, it was also Micro Center. That completely blows for anyone trying to get a decent deal, because now this is like pretty much the pricing of a 5070 Ti. Now, when you see ASUS doing this, I'm not ASUS. If you see AMD, once they do something like this, that's not a good sign. That means the 5070 Ti is definitely going to go up in price. If they went up in price, 5070 Ti is definitely going up in price. So Intel is on the hot sand though. For me, the perfect 5080 is the Founders Edition for size and price. Can never find, yes, just read that one. Mark Griffin says, is the RAM shortage real? Or is this just a ploy for vendors to raise price? It's absolutely real. 100% real, unfortunately. I wish it was a ploy. Christian, do it. Go for it. Do iPhone repairs. Rainbow loves coffee. Good to see you. It is upgrading a 4070 Ti Super to a 5070 Ti. It's a decent upgrade, but when it comes to the power, if you're looking for a bit more power, the 5070 Ti would probably, you're going to see maybe about a 15 to 20% increase when it comes to power. It seems like we've been using those numbers a lot, but it's like 15 or 20% increase if you're going 5070 Ti. Now, there's a bit more of an upgrade if you're trying to use things like frame generation. The new DLSS 4.5 isn't bad. It's relatively decent, and you can certainly take advantage of it if you go 5070 Ti, because they do have the new they have the transformers in there to where you're able to take advantage of the new tech that's in DLSS 4.5. So it's a decent upgrade. But if you are in need of an upgrade and you're trying to kind of offset costs, like maybe the 4070 Ti you can get for a decent deal. Like you can sell it for a decent price and then purchase a 5070 Ti. So that way, when the next generation comes, you can, get ready for it practically. Then it wouldn't be too bad of an idea. But I would say don't wait on purchasing because it can, the pricing unfortunately is starting to take a hit. And again, yes, it did. Son of a B. And see the ASUS Nvidia GeForce RTX 5070 Ti, the white one, now is $1,169. This is not eBay or Amazon. This is actually on Micro Center. So it's actually taking quite the hit. That is terrible. Um, So, hello there. I happen to be on the opposite side of the spectrum, and I just upgraded my GPU. Now, my question is, what do you think is a good price to sell a RX 7900 XTX? That's a great question. Now, what you can do is you can look for what specific model do you have? Which RX 7900 XTX do you have? Now, typically you can buy them new for like about 1,000, like you roughly about 900 to 1,000. Now, of course, it's one of AMD's higher end cards, one of the few that has 24 gigabytes of VRAM. And for those, you can typically get, like, if you were to sell it for a decent price, and with pricing with the RAM also starting to increase, obviously, with this, fairly enough, you could probably get, like, realistically, like maybe 700, 750. You probably can get out of that card. I can't wait it out, but good news is I can clean the dust off of it. Mr. Rainbow Loves Coffee says, I got 18% VAT tax over price I have to pay for a new GPU or any gaming PC part. Yeah, I feel bad for anyone that has to pay any of that. Of course, the VAT tax. I know it's rough in Europe, especially when you're purchasing PC hardware. So, if you are thinking of upgrading, make sure to take the decision. Really think the decision thoroughly. If you really need to do that, if you're really looking for that upgrade, and also figure out what the purpose of the upgrade is, because it's also really important to figure out if your display can handle what you're looking for. Now, if you're running a bit of a, say like you're running 1080, you're not going to need something like a 5070 Ti. It won't be as necessary. But if you're running something like, if you're running a bit higher, you're running something like that's at, say, at 1440 on a wider screen, like 3440 by 1440 resolution, then maybe you want that 5070 Ti. So, and depends on the games that you play. Like, again, like what was brought up earlier, Monster Hunter's Wilds, you have Black Myth Wukong, Metal Gear Solid, Snake Eater, those type of games, the remake specifically. But the games that require Unreal Engine 5 are going to be a bit more demanding and is going to require a bit more power from your GPU, especially if you enable things like ray tracing and path tracing, and if you're more of, say, like into quality. So, Squeeze says, I need 20 PCs to get 5090 I have sold. So, what would you price the Power Color Spectral White 7900 XTX? Great question. Waffle. I just noticed that. Son of a. Okay. Now it seems like there we go. So if I was to price the Power Color Spectral White 7900 XTX, I'd say that one's a bit more of a rare find there. You could probably get a decent price for it. So far we got no on the pricing. I'll take the poll down real quick. So it seems like we got no on the pricing there. So for that, you could probably get definitely like between like 750 to 800, I would say. I could probably even go up more depending on what the demand is for the 7900 XTX. If you take a look at it currently, I'm curious to see if they did push up the price of the XTX. Because if they did, that's a good indication. I could be a little bit off. They slightly did. $1,100. Maybe you could get like, you probably could get like a decent $800 off of that XTX. I would say like 800. Yeah, like $800, I would say would be fair. I bought a white MSI Gaming Trio 5070 Ti for 830. Uh, uh, that's honestly not bad. You actually got it for a decent deal. It's crazy. I swear, like once we started the stream, it was not this expensive. I think everybody can vouch that when we first were checking the prices, it was not that bad. It seems like it actually changed in real time. It really did, because yeah, definitely. Of course, because the pricing was much better. Now, you take a look at the pricing here. There's only two prices that honestly had stayed, which was the MSI Nvidia RTX 5070 Ti, which is the Shadow. There's no RGBs, that hence the name Shadow. And then you have the Ventus, which nobody's a real big fan of MSI's Ventus for its reputation originally. Nobody really likes the look of it as well. But again, $845, really hard to beat. But now you take a look at the shift at pricing when it comes to the ASUS GeForce RTX 5070 Ti Prime. Again, a very base level ASUS level brand, which is Prime, tough. Then you have the ROG Strix and then ROG afterwards. So Ventus, yeah, nothing wrong. Hey, I mean, it works great, right? The Ventus. Not everyone's like I said, some people love it, some people hate it. Just depends on who you ask. I can certainly tell you, I know Takuma's not a big fan of it. He has had issues with it. Personally, to me, I wasn't a big fan of it either when I had it. But again, it's probably improved much better compared to when I originally had it, which was the 2080 Ti. I still remember that. But it's the 5090 Ventus. Interesting. So, how do you like it in your opinion, Dark Style? So, but if you look at the ASUS Nvidia GeForce RTX 5070 Ti, now this is the tough gaming overclock. And so, technically, this should not be as expensive. It shouldn't be this highly priced for the tough gaming overclock. I'm curious to see if I can get like a price chart pulled up on it. So, they currently have the open box version, but it's currently for $1,169. So the pricing has certainly gone up quite a bit when it comes to the 5070 Ti. Now let's look at the 5080s. If they went up, I would think this also went up. So Nvidia looked at the one constantly priced GPU at 50. Yeah, pretty much, Waffle. That's what they said. Nvidia said, all right, you want to make fun of AI, guys? All right, you gamers want to keep calling AI slop? Okay, I'll show you slop, and then they changed the pricing. That's exactly what happened. I mean, ridiculous. Just ridiculous. Now the ASUS, now, okay. Guys, bam. Remember I bought that Nvidia, the ASUS Noctua RTX 5080 card, right? Remember how much it was? It was $1,600. It was, no, my fault. Yeah, it was it 16? It was 16. Yeah, it was $1,600. I think 16 or 17. Yeah, $1,600. And now it's $1,700 for the Nvidia RTX 5080 16GB card. Could you check if the Ors Master RTX 5080 price did go down? I think it went up, to be honest. I think it's going to go up. We're going to check out of stock items too. Let me check. Filter. Include out of stock items. So let's go ahead. Let's look again. And we'll make sure to put GPUs only, so that way we'll be sure. And we want gigabytes. All right, so we'll find out right now. So they don't have the Ors Master. They have WindForce. Oh wait, they do. Actually, they haven't touched it. Maybe because it hasn't gone in stock yet. But that just shows you how expensive it got. Now, you compare the ASUS TUF RTX 5080 over the Gigabyte Nvidia RTX 5080 Ors Master. But I would take this in a heartbeat over the TUF. I'm sorry, but that's the way it is. What's the gold at 50? That's a good question. The Duhabub edition or If I'm saying, I don't know if I'm saying it right. Let's see. Not Gigabyte. Let's go with ASUS here. It's funny they had them. The Duhabib edition, I think it is, right here. It's still 1900. It's because it hasn't gone in stock yet. The Master is going up. It is a nice card and it looks great. It is. It's 100% going up. I know that for sure. So I swear I've watched a Duhab go 5080 go from what 1400 16. It's gonna be worse. This is gonna go 22, like 2100 or 2200. Jonathan Lopez says the ASUS 5090 has increased the price of the tough 5080 and the 1700. Yes, yes, it's insane. We were just looking at it at real time, and the pricing has gone up right in front of our face. It's insane. Um, Whatever they have in stock is what started the price increase. Take a look at this. The ASUS Nvidia RTX 5080 Tough Gaming Overclock is now $1,700. They do have the Noctua card. Luckily, it's $1,700. That makes no sense. So they haven't. You know what that means? The ASUS card, the Noctua edition, they haven't quite figured out the pricing yet. So that means if you are looking for a new GPU that's a 5080, this is actually a decent deal as if you get the ASUS Noctua card while you can. But everything else has gone up a little bit. The Astral, it's holding. And the Astral, this is holding. And the Prime, that's gone up quite significantly. $1,500 is a lot for a 5080. And that's their base. That's like, again, ASUS's baseline right there. So best pricing is Micro Center. Yes. Yeah, pretty much Micro Center. That's like my go-to page now to get like accurate pricing when it comes to GPUs. Late last night, Newegg upped the ASUS Astral RTX 5080 from $1,799 to $1,899. Seeing more prices increase, yes, and it's starting to go up. Originally, again, 13, 14. Man, all right, so guys, I made this video that's supposed to drop tomorrow. So that's already the pricing I mentioned in this video are going to be out of date already. Now it's going to, that's how quick it changed. That's insane. I just made this video. So I am tempted to switch from Noctua's 5080 with the worst master. Oh, it's amazing. Like, I'm telling you, like, you don't hear anything. Like, when that 5080 is on, it's like, it doesn't sound like a graphics card is on at all. Like, I honestly thought, like, how different could it really be? Like, when I got this Noctua 5080, I thought, how different would the sound level be? And my God, it's a large difference. You don't realize how loud the GPU is until you put a Noctua GPU in. So the newest GPU is only in the tech store in my area is the 4050. Really, I know it's rough over in the UK. Be honest, most high-end cards the normal user won't need. That exactly. That's what I mean. Most people, again, it's technically okay. So what Dark Style Tech is saying, you are paying for what the fan shroud is. Like, for example, if you buy the Noctua RTX 5080, you're purchasing it technically for the fan shroud. Of course, there's factory overclocks in some of the cards as well, but technically it's still the same type of GPU die. For example, it's still going to be the it's the GB202 for the 5080. And for the 5070 Ti's, it's the GB203. For the Noctua and for the RTX 5090s, it's the GB201. Those are the GPUs that are being used. So technically, if you are still getting this 5080, they all are named 5080s for a reason because they all hold the same graphics that's in there. The only difference is that you're going to pay for what the extras are on the card, such as overclock. You're going to pay for maybe the extra accessories that also come with the GPU. You will also pay for the noise levels of the fan, the type of fans that are being used, and how much RPM the fans go, and the type of thermal paste. So those would probably be the 6 different things I can name that would be different between the different variants when it comes to a 50 series card, or any other card, in fact. So my GPU latch on motherboard has broken off. Do I need to get a new motherboard or should I stick with this one? Not necessarily. That you can actually replace those latches. Are you talking about the M.2 latch? That actually, oh, your GPU latch. The GPU latch broke. Ugh, that's kind of rough. If the GPU latch broke, is it your release or is it the actual or do you have like the older ones where you actually had to put your finger like practically inside the board to release the motherboard, release the GPU? Is it one of those latches? Because that can be a bit sketchy because then it can always get loose. The only other option I can say is if you connect your GPU, if you want to hook it up, say horizontally. If you hook up your GPU horizontally, then maybe it's a bit better that way. Again, the biggest thing is you just have to make sure that the PCI Express bus is secure, that it won't slip out. If it does, it's going to give you problems. The first thing I would certainly check on your PC is go into your BIOS and then, or not even go to your BIOS, download GPU-Z and see exactly what your speeds are for your GPU. If you're still getting X16 at PCI Express 4 would be, then you should be pretty much good. It means it's still reading your GPU perfectly fine. Now, if you're getting some weird numbers, like you're getting at, say, it's like your GPU will say rated for PCI Express 4, X16, but it'll say at, for example, at X2 or at 2 times speed, it's just letting you know that it's not really running properly, that it's not running at the speed it should be running at. So check that first and see if it's still reading. If it's still reading fine, I wouldn't worry about it too much. But if it does end up like slipping out like a bit more often, like if you notice that the numbers always constantly go down, or if you notice a change in FPS, then it's time to certainly worry about it. Then swap out the motherboard. Then you have no choice, unfortunately, because either you could send in the latch, you could send in that whole motherboard and get it repaired, or you can change out the whole motherboard. And at that point, if you send in a motherboard to get that PCI Express latch to get repaired, which is going to cost you like $50 or $70, you might as well just get a new motherboard at that point. So Carl Johnson says, what's a good 5080, 5090 card to put in a SG10? I would have to dismantle. Yeah, honestly, there's a lot of good cards out there for it. You're going to look for more of a short form factor card. If that, I would say just go look for like something like the WindForce SFF. That would be a decent one to go with. Heat pipes versus vapor chambers. I like vapor chambers for sure. Vapor chambers, heat pipes, but heat pipes are beautiful looking though, I gotta say. I don't know why non-overclockers get K CPUs. It just costs money. Hey, I mean it's their money. They want to enjoy the K. Same thing with the KS, but it's a bit more overclock room if they ever do get into it. You never know. They might get into it a little bit late. What if they really if they release the RTX? That would kind of throw everything off. If that was the case, that would be that would be kind of funny if that happened, Pencilla. I almost missed it. Oh, no. You're good. You're good, Steve. I'm glad you made it in. It's odd, too, because I notice sometimes it's like, I try to make sure everyone gets seen on this. Let me see. Let me do this. Activate source. Make sure I got the right one here. Okay, that's fine. For some reason, sometimes, I know sometimes it seems like nobody could see each other. There we go. Hopefully that works. Because I see Fenzilla and he hasn't popped up on the... You got any PC case recommendations for under $100? Yeah, Monotech is actually really good. I'll show you, in fact. Let's go to Monotech. On Monotech, you can actually get some decent cases. And they're not as expensive. Cooler Master is also decent as well. I like Cooler Master. Here goes one, the XR tempered glass. It's only $70. And it's again, like they come with the fans, which is nice, and it's higher quality than what they charge for, which is definitely a plus. It's great for anybody that's looking for a bit more value when it comes to a PC build. And it looks great. It has USB-C. You got the two USB 3.0 ports. Now, some people might not like this, the opposite sides of the USB. That's what, hence why it could be a little bit cheaper. But it even has a reset button and it has two separate ports. And not every case has this. It has two separate ports for your 3.5 millimeter auxiliary jack. And of course, you have your power button. So Montech is actually one of the decent brands where you can actually spend like $70 on a case and get a decent one. They also have other versions of it. Like the Air 903 Max is the one I like most. We did a PC build actually with it for, again, $90 case. Very decent, plenty of airflow, and it's quiet. Those fans are actually a lot more quiet than most realize. And what I like about it is everything is hooked up on the top. So you have two USB 3 and you have USB-C, and you do have the power and reset button and even RGB LED button. So this is also a great choice as well. So I'm still a believer in physical media. Do you think it's worth importing the upcoming Masterbox CM? I think it. Hey, I'd go for it. If there's nothing wrong with physical media, it would be awesome to actually get it. A Waffle Skater get Fractional North. That's actually really good too. Fractional North's a good design, but sometimes they can be a bit price. I'm thinking fractional design. They could be a bit pricey, depending on the type of case that you get. We could look at fractional design. Of course, it just depends on. I'll show you. So fractional design, he's talking about the Meshify, which is this case here. Right here. So they have that Meshify 3, the Meshify 2, wonderful cases here, but I believe they are a bit expensive. They're definitely over $100. Like at Amazon, they have it for $240. Yeah, and that's for the Meshify 3. So it's funny to say, Montech is similar, very similar to this case. So if you go for the Air 903 Max, again, Montech 903 Max, again, it's much more of a fair price. It's just very similar, but it just doesn't have like of course, like the little fractures that they have on there. I didn't mean to click that. There we go. So this is it right here. And it comes with all the extra accessories that you would need for it. So you can definitely, this is a case I would highly recommend. Very good quality, decent. It comes with 4 fans also with the case, which is very unusual. Usually you only get 3. And if you get a value case, like say from a brand, typically you'll just get all black fans. They won't even be RGB. So this one actually has RGB fans. Plus it has the exterior fan that you can hook up to it. Again, 4 fans. And the I/O ports are very decent on it. Again, you have USB 3, USB-C, 2 auxiliary ports, and you even have a reset and LED button on it. So this is one I usually recommend here. Yeah, that's concerning. Hopefully he didn't get into something. Keep an eye on him. I have the Meshify C, and I have the biggest GTX. It's again, keep the case. Honestly, if you choose to do like a new build, keep that case. It's definitely worth building on. So, physical media guy, do you know any good modern cases that still fly? I do. Actually, I do. There's one. It's actually very interesting. It's a retro case. I can only find the fractional pot. It might be the same idea. You're thinking the old Cooler Masters, like the half 901s. They're awesome cases. The half 901s, that's like they're great for media. I'm curious if they even have them. Cooler Master half. I'm curious if they still have them. They do. That's crazy. And probably not the 901s though. Not 901. I think it was the 500. My fault. But they changed the design quite. It's definitely different. Actually, it is different. I'm thinking of like how the original was. The original one actually had the large 170 millimeter fan, I think, on the bottom, and that was it. And the top had the trays. But this is again the newer style. halves. So they will not have that. Like the half X, actually, is what I'm thinking of. The half X. Let me see. They probably have a newer version of it. All right, you're my yes. That's the one I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of the Silverstone FLP. That's exactly the one I'm thinking of. It's like a retro case. I would go with that. It's a sleeper because it's one of those cases where you get plenty of airflow for a modern case, and you still can use physical media. It's funny too because the last I really like that case too. The Cooler Master half what was it? The half 500? What was it? 2014, I think it was. 2014. The half X. Yeah, there it is. That's what I had. The half X. Yeah, here it is. The half X. They actually still have it on the webpage. This was the case. Very awesome case. The only thing that annoyed me, I remember about this case, was one thing. I can't believe people are buying out the Silverstone case. Yeah, you know, the crazy thing is, I'm telling you, we 100% have. I always love the design of these because of, man, it kind of makes you want to do a retro build almost. Like when you look at this stuff, it's like you kind of miss doing this kind of build. You have up to 5 trays when it comes to physical media, like on the top for the 5.25 drives. And then you had the 2.5 drives for the, was it 2.5? Or is it 3? I can't remember the size. 5. These were 5.25, and then you had the, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sure you got it right on top of your head for the floppy disk. You would install like on this side here. Man, I could put all DVD pretty much. Yeah, exactly. You could put like all, that's like back then, like when you had like to like you wanted to just like copy media on top of media. It is the Corsair 1000D of 2000. Yes, it is. Again, these were like great cases back then, especially when it came to the side here, because they made it a lot more simpler for you to remove your optical drives as well when it came to this case. So this was like a great option for anybody out there that was looking for that. I like NZXT cases because of the easy hookup. Oh man, look at that. Look at that. They still have the what's it called? Trying to think of the name of it now. Crossfire. It looks like 2 Crossfire GPUs there. So I like NZXT cases because I like to hook up the panel connector. I get it. I do get it. The Lian Lee's are like that now. Like I like Lian Lee's case where it's like that. Lian Lee Land Cool 217. 217. They have different variants of it. I have the INF. That's the one we're actually going to build. We're actually going to build the Intel Arrow Lake refresh on that one. I missed that case. I know, wasn't it a great case? It was an awesome case. I kind of miss it now. Isn't NZXT having, well, you know what they, do you guys remember what NZXT did? They kind of pulled that Nvidia move where they kind of said it was subscription based. Like they wanted to do you could get hardware subscription based. Like you could rent it like for like 6 months. And then they kind of pulled back real quick when they ended up getting all that backlash. Now they got 2 variants of it. They have the white and the black. I love the look of it because it's a beautiful looking case. Now this you can actually swap out the IOs and everything on it too. Luckily, Lian Lee was kind enough to give us one so we can for review here. But this is pretty awesome because you can actually swap out the IO. Let me show you. Right, if they show it right here. So you can choose to keep it down here. I wish they improved on this site a little bit. Maybe I could scroll down and actually see it. Here it is. So you can choose to have, here goes the hub for the L connectors. And then you do have the 2 front controls for the fans. Of course, you do have to deal with the software. I know not everyone's a big fan of Lian Lee's software here. It's right here. You can actually swap this out. You can put this on the top instead of the side if you want to. So this is actually swappable here. So So I'm deciding to upgrade my motherboard because of that latch, and it's what I decided to get with. I get it. That it's a good choice though. I'm happy you're getting a new motherboard. You'll definitely feel a lot more comfortable and more safe. You don't want to cause issues either. So going with the new motherboard, let us know how it goes. Would love to know how your PC build goes together. So rent a PC, yes. NTXT, rent your PC, rental hardware. But a lot of profit from people breaking them and needing them to pay. My buddy did that monthly PC thing through them. He hated it. This is interesting. He hated it. And by the time he was done doing it, he ended up building his own PC. Oh man, that sucks. That is terrible, Waffle. I love my Okinos Aircross. It's like the oh yeah, is it? That's pretty dope. Look at the design. It's pretty sick. Like when you look at it, you can really make it look sick. And you got it. And the really cool thing about it, here it is. Now they show it. It's right here. This is what I wanted to show you guys too. So you can easily swap the IO just like this. So if you don't want it on the bottom here, as you see how it's pointing down there, you can actually put it right onto the top. So every ad I see now mentions AI or you. Yeah, well, everything is practically AI at this point. Uh, it's funny too because how Nvidia again, he's really stressed on people saying do not give AI a bad name. You're stopping the progression of AI. I still like the front panel connector though. It makes things so much so easy. All cases should have that connector. I agree. They should be able to have that connector to make it easier. Please look at the thermal. Yeah, sure. Let's take a look at it. Let's definitely take a look at it. So, FanBam guys, if you're curious about the whole situation with the RAM situation, it certainly hasn't gotten better. In fact, and if you're curious about the pricing when it comes to GPUs, yes, it's literally going up. It's going up during the stream practically. It's insane. If you look at the ASUS Prime RTX 5080, it's going up to $1,600. That's close. No, $1,700, I think. 16. Now I'm getting my prices mixed up. That's how often they change it. I can't even think of the pricing. You forgot to shove AI. You know what? That's I really like that idea, Waffle Skater. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that on my next title. I'm gonna update the title and call it AI. I like that idea. That's pretty funny. Yes. Yes. Maybe we'll get lucky and we get Jetson Hong to go into our stream and he'll applaud us for putting AI on the title. Mike says, I saw your title, so I looked up the price. I was going to get the MSI 5070 Ti gaming trio price. Yeah. See, that's what I've been warning everybody, Mike. I've been trying to tell everybody you gotta get a GPU if you need it. Oh wow, that is pretty dope. I like that. This would be great for a NAS system, even. Like if you're looking for a network attached system, this would be it. Now you got me. This is what I would be looking for. Now this is what we're talking about. I would probably get this for the network attached system. I think it would be great, but I'm kind of afraid to look at the pricing of how much it would be to get hard drives now, because hard drives should not be that expensive. Yes. You know what's funny? The person that's in charge of YouTube, he says now we can use shorts to create we can create shorts in the likeness of us, like of the creator, which is kind of creepy, I gotta say. So if we create shorts, we can make it look just like us and pretty much do our shorts. That PC can drift. The case I like is the APNX version 2. Let's take a look. I'll look at it. APNX version 2. 340 euros. How many FPS you got? Wheels. Neither should SSDs, but here we are. Expensive. Yeah, I agree. It just doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. It has no business of being at that price. Here we go. APNX version 2. I like this. This is pretty dope actually. You can completely take it apart and you can shift it around. Now this is like fully modular from what it looks like here. And take a look at the back here. That is nice. I am liking it. So you can even you have an X and pen flow design, separate GPU and PSU airflow paths, allow for superior cooling efficiency, panoramic showcase. That's what I certainly like about it. Doesn't look like your typical fish tank case. And extreme cooling support up to 10. Okay. Now, anytime I see that, I really start to doubt like some companies when they start calling fan sizes 10 by 12 centimeter fans. I don't think they meant that. That's questionable. But I'm curious. It's probably decent. You know what? It makes me want to reach out just to get a case and just let him know this error. It's no way. It's 10 by 12 centimeter fans on dual. That doesn't make sense. I think they meant 120. They had to mean it. So the motherboard tray is moved forward to allow 2 more fans. Don't underestimate the power of Schwarzers. I have 240 millimeter. Yeah, that's what I figured. It has to be 120. Yeah, 120. That because that would certainly make the most sense. Oh, but it's definitely got plenty of good reviews. So yeah, maybe I like the modularity of it for sure. You can put 140 and 160. Really, I like how you can remove that removable motherboard cable. That's certainly dope. And it has next gen, so meaning it probably also has the whole BTF in there, so you can hook up pretty much ATX cables like behind it instead of hooking it up in the front. And the APNX ARG, oh, it comes with a hub as well. Has a filter inside for the fans. Not too bad actually. Again, I like the modularity of it for sure. So yeah, I'll keep this tab open. Definitely would reach out to them, take a look at that case. It would be pretty interesting to do a build on it. It would be great for like definitely be great to showcase. If I would 100% go BTF on a build like this, that would really make it look dope, I think. But speaking of which, for everybody that is coming in curious about the situation, the pricing has gone up quite drastically. In fact, I'm going to refresh everybody here who's come in for this very purpose. For the RTX 5070 Ti. In fact, we'll go light. We'll start really light. We'll start with the RX 9070 XT. If you're familiar with the pricing of it, it's typically about $600. Now the pricing of the RX 9070 XT has gone up with $650 for the original $600 price. Power color is now $800. $850. Sapphire went up to $810. So everything went up about $50. You take a look at the 5070 Ti. We haven't looked at the original 5070 quite yet, but that does make me a bit curious now. The 5070 Ti. So yeah, that's a smart choice, Mike. Definitely go BTF. You won't have regret it. You have 240 millimeter fans. It's that's weird. Don't let me see. I just missed that. Don't underestimate the power of the Schwartz or shorts. Yes, it's good. I'm telling you, that's the way they're pushing AI. What phone do I have? Currently, I have the iPhone 17. It's the Pro Max, if you're curious. Now, this is the 5070 Ti. Oh, they adjusted it. No, they didn't. I got thrown off there because I'm thinking of the 5080, which is terribly priced, I gotta say. Okay, but this is also terribly priced. The 5070 Ti is $1,009.99 for this GPU. So it should not be near this price. Again, Prime is the lowest of the low when it comes to ASUS. And then it goes tough. Then it goes ROG Strix. Then you got the ROG Astral. So it goes in that order. So for the lowest line to be $1,009, indicates of how expensive it is now to get a 5070 Ti. In fact, there's no more MSI shadows now. All the MSI shadows are gone. I just realized that. We just looked at it and they had 6 left in stock. Remember, guys, in the beginning? They're all gone. They're not here no more. So all the shadows are gone. The ASUS Nvidia GeForce RTX 5070 Ti Tough Gaming, the white version of it, is $1,169. So that's like what a 5080 should be. And now the MSI Nvidia GeForce RTX 5070 Ti is now $844. That is now the lowest one. And I guarantee you, because of the pricing, it will sell. So, and I understand Nvidia is charging less for G7 than AMD is charging for G6. It makes sense because it's a bit more current. But the good thing is AMD did mention, guys, that they are not planning to slow down any production when it comes to the 9070 XT. So if you are looking for a 9070 XT, they will have it a bit more available compared to the 9070, which is the standard 8GB model. Same thing with the 9060. They plan on slowing down with the 8GB models and focus more on the 16GB models instead. So Mike says, I'm going to go with my second choice GPU, which is the 9700 XT, because that's way more reasonable, especially now. I certainly get it. Finger burn. It's not even hot from the CPU yet. Yeah, I bet it is. The screen is I bet it is. That's kind of wild. You went ham on something like that. Now the 5080. This will make you want to throw up. I'm not kidding. When you see the prices of the 5080, you're just gonna want to throw up. It's really bad. Now here's the prices of the 5080. Again, the Noctua is gone already. That was fast. They did have some in stock, guys. They did have the Noctua RTX 5080 in stock. And now it's gone. And that was actually $15.99. So it was cheaper than the Tough Gaming RTX 5080. And now this is $1,700. Again, this is only a step above the Prime, which is at $1,500. The ASUS RTX 5080 ROG Astral is now $1,900. Still the same price. Hasn't changed. Surprisingly hasn't changed. But I wouldn't be surprised if the price does adjust. But maybe they're going to hold the pricing because they feel 1,900 is the limit currently for the ASUS RTX 5080. So thank you very much for everything you do. I need to, yeah, thanks so much for joining in, Mr. Rainbow. Always enjoy your company. Waffle Skater says, no, the 9070 is also 16 gigabytes. The 9070 XT is 16 gigabytes. The 9070 to standard, the 9070 is not 16 gigabytes. Yes. I had the 4070 Ti computer in this room and the 7900 XT computer all going at the same time in this room. I call this room my man cave. I get it because like every time I get my PCs running, this room is literally like 10 degrees warmer compared to the rest of the house. It's always warmer. Like as soon as I step out, I'm like, man, it's kind of cold out here because I got so adapted to the temperature of the studio here. So 50. Now let's go 5090 if they have any in stock, which they more than likely don't. As you know, it's all sold out, and the pricing has adjusted. Yay! We got the adjustment, guys. That we have breaking news. The adjustment has been made on pricing. So the ASUS RTX 5090 has changed in pricing slightly, not much, by $200. So we got our answer there. So the rumors of 4,000, 5,000, I don't think are going to be really true. Maybe from the scalper standpoint, it can be, but it seems that it's gone up $200. So it's originally $3,300 for the RTX 5090. Now it's gone up to $3,509. Same thing with the RTX 5090 ROG Astral White. It's gone up again $200. Same thing with the Tough Gaming. It's gone up $200 practically. Chris, but I might build a PC in the table part below it. So will the price go down, or is this, unfortunately, right now, this will be the current standard of the markets. The price will not go down. And the reason being is because there is not enough allocation of the wafers for the RAM. There's not enough yield for it. So unfortunately, this is going to be the new standard for everybody when it comes to purchasing GPUs, especially if you're looking for something like a 5090. Definitely get used to this pricing. This is going to be the new pricing. So it's gone up like about $200, fairly enough. I hate to see Newegg pricing. It's definitely going to go up a little bit more significant there, as many of them. Can I get DDR6 RAM? Oh, it'd be wonderful. if it's an Intel Oracle's there too. It's yeah, of course. Yeah, eventually it might go up that much, right? Right, Squeeze? Wasabi, what's going on? Yeah. So Wasabi, I'm glad you bought your parts because I do have news to break to you. The pricing has gone up a little bit. Everything's going up $200. Every GPU SKU. The only one I haven't checked is the 5070, but I bet it went up. If everything else went up, this went up too. Not. Damn it. There we go. No, actually, no. 5070s are the only ones that are holding. The Zotac Nvidia RTX 5070s 550. So they're holding. That's the only one that's held. I think it's because it's 12 gigabytes of VRAM, but I believe it will change. Because look at ASUS's Nvidia Prime. It just hasn't, Zotac hasn't been updated yet. MSI hasn't been updated yet. But ASUS's Nvidia RTX 5070 has updated to 670. So they actually went up. ASUS was quick to update. Because look at the RTX 5070. The standard's $800 now. That's the price of a 5070 Ti, guys. The chat, that's the price of a 5070 Ti. What would happen? It would just show faces, I guess. What are your thoughts of the ROG motherboards and the Ryzen 7? Now, I gotta say it's interesting. I'd say I feel like more than likely it's going to be BIOS involved, so I'm waiting to find out exactly what is going on with that situation. I think it has to do mostly with that. So I don't think it's motherboard really. I think there was an issue with the BIOS from what I'm gathering. You got to be real smart to raise the prices of GPUs at least by $200, but it would not surprise me at this point. Yes. Yeah. You got it. Yeah, pretty much. Unfortunately for everybody out there that is looking to purchase a GPU, I hate to break it to everybody, but the pricing has gone up. Specifically definitely on the ASUS side. Everything on all the ASUS SKUs, they've gone up already. On MSI, hasn't gone up everywhere just quite yet. MSI hasn't touched their prices, but ASUS has upped their prices. Now, when it comes to Gigabyte, they've also upped their prices as well. And now when it comes to ASRock and it comes to AMD cards, they've also upped their prices. So everything has gone up again. So you got to see this in real time on Wednesday's stream. Literally, it went up like within the last hour of the stream. So again, if you look at the 5070 Ti, the pricing has gone up. What is the safest BIOS right now currently for those motherboards in my opinion? Currently I'd say I have to double check the BIOS. But I wouldn't upgrade to that new BIOS just quite yet if you're on the X870 on the X870 motherboards. B850, I think you're probably more than likely safe. It's more of those, you know what? Even the B850s, in fact. I'll double check. I'll notify you because I don't want to give inaccurate information. But once I find out, I will let you know which one is the most stable BIOS. Again, for those who aren't part of the Discord, make sure to join in.
Xen7 subscribe to the channel.
Thank you for subscribing. Wait till the Super Series. I don't know I don't think there's going to be Super Series, to be honest. I think they're going to completely skip it and go to 60 series at this point. So is it true that AMD is HDMI cable? I think has to do with HDMI. Not too sure. Oh, you're just building a machine now. Oh, what are your specs, by the way? Yeah, share your specs, please. Let us know. Cheapest 70 Ti in stock is it's going to be the Ventus. Definitely the Ventus is the cheapest, next to the Shadow. Now, unfortunately, they sold out of the Shadow real fast. They sold the white 5070 Ti actually already. That's insane. So people are still buying these cards. I'm shaking my head because I'm like, it's insane. Like the pricing now. So yeah, I was joking. Oh, okay. My nearest Best Buy hasn't raised the prices yet. So I get the, yeah, you got me curious now. Let's look at Best Buy. They haven't up to, you know what I like about Best Buy? They're slow. They're very slow at updating. So take advantage. If you got a Best Buy near you, you can take advantage. If I, you know what? I'm gonna make a SKU list, and when I do, I'll update you guys and let you know what I find is the cheapest, and you guys can click on it. Oh, that's right. I got it. Oh, yeah. Best Buy. Thank you for letting everyone know that is true. Best Buy is definitely definitely the way to go. I know everything's kind of blacked out because I got like dark mode on here, like the custom dark mode. So you can actually still get the Prime for $900 for the 5070 Ti. So that's a bit more fair. It's still expensive, but it's fair. It's definitely more fair than what they were charging. So if you can get it at Best Buy, do it. I'm gonna update. I'm gonna create a SKU for Best Buy. Newegg's very fast at updating. They're like on point. They're on point, and so is. And I gotta say, Micro Center is usually good. I feel like they don't up the price on purpose. They're trying to hold the pricing as long as they can before they can up the price. So they're like at their minimum. So the Crosshair X8 MDE. So yeah, then okay. So just keep the standard BIOS that's on there now. Just don't update the BIOS, because what's on the Crosshair now is going to be good enough. Yes. So if you got the ASUS ROG Crosshair, congratulations, great motherboard. I love it. That's what I use on my gaming rig. Same exact setup, nearly, except I have a different GPU. But yeah, I would keep that same BIOS. You'll be happy with it when it comes to the 9800X 3D and Newegg. So the MSI Ventus. So MSI hasn't really upped their prices quite yet. They did slightly, like when it comes to the white one. But ASUS definitely made that phone call and upped the pricing. MSI's that's not the original pricing. Let's double check this sold by Newegg just to double check here. Realistic thoughts on, are they going to keep us on stuck with 16 gigabytes still with the to be honest, STC Donnie, to tell you the truth, what they will do is they're going to tell everybody you're going to be happy with 16 gigabytes because you got no damn choice. You're going to that's what they're going to tell everybody. You're going to be happy with 16 gigabytes because that's all we're going to give you guys. And we're not going to go full out production. In fact, you better be happy with 8 gigabytes or even 12 gigabytes. But honestly, that's what I do think. I think AMD really wanted to come out with like a newer 9080, like, or a 9090 XT, but it just was not. They weren't capable. They couldn't do it. And they probably felt like, why focus on the consumer side as well? Because if you guys seen the keynotes for AMD, they were very focused and keen on the AI. And once again, second year in a row where they completely skip out on 2025, it was the GPUs they skipped out. They skipped out on the 9070 XTs, and now in 2025, 2026, they skip out on the 9850X3D announcement. And same thing with the 9950X3D too, even though there were slides. And because of that, it makes me never want to go to an AMD keynote, even though they do still have plenty of respect for gamers out there. They just are obviously trying to win this whole AI race as well. So I hate that Best Buy allows third-party sellers. I wanted to price match some Liam Lee fans from Micro Center, but lo and behold, they sold Of course. It's my first ever rig. Thanks for your honest. Yeah, yeah, no problem at all. Enjoy it. You're gonna love it. You will love your rig. And please share the pictures in Discord. Yeah, they were unfair. Nvidia doesn't want to give out 60. Yeah, they don't. What are your thoughts on air versus liquid cooled on 5090? Okay, so this is a great question. I'm sure you guys are probably curious about this as well. Um, it doesn't really matter. And the reason being, unless you're working on things like LLMs, you're working on like CAD projects where they're very heavy into GPU rendering, um, then you would care about liquid cooling. But if you're just gaming, I'm telling you, air cooling is perfectly fine. They even have a fourth fan in a lot of these GPUs when it comes to RTX 5090 now. That works great. Yes, please do. So, FanBam, guys, I certainly appreciate everyone who has joined in to our wonderful stream. Thank you, chat, for coming in. Yes, if you're getting it to quickly answer you, GraveX, yes. Get the 5070 Ti if you can, and try look for MSI. I'll tell you right now, look for MSI. It seems MSI has been holding a solid pricing, to be fair. So I would go make sure to go MSI, and you'll certainly be much more happier as the pricing is great, and you still get a 5070 Ti with the GB203. And again, you're just paying for this pretty much the shrouds and a little bit of extra features, but that's it. Nothing too crazy. The best options to get for pricing wise and value, go with the RTX 5070 Ti MSI Shadow. Personally, for me, you do have the chat does agree the Ventus works very well. You go with the Ventus model for $840. Look at Best Buy and Micro Center for the better deals. Newegg can be decent, but you have to be really careful. Make sure it's not from a third-party seller, and make sure that Newegg ends up price matching. Usually, they're pretty fair about that. So, again, check down in the description box down below for a lot of these deals. If you don't see the card that you want, just click the link. It certainly does help out in the on this channel to keep continuing to stream for you guys. But again, feel free to ask questions in Discord. Our wonderful members will certainly help you with your PC build if you need any help. You can certainly ask inside the Discord. And thank you guys. I personally want to thank Wasabi. I want to thank Steve Anderson, of course, Waffle Skater here, LSG, all our wonderful members to make this all possible. We thank you for the new subscribers here, such as RV and R and Thumper. I do appreciate all of you guys coming in. And I thank Mr. Rainbow, Squeeze as always, and I thank King. I thank you all. And everybody out here, have a great night. And honestly, good luck with shopping for a GPU. And of course, if you need help looking, again, feel free to head up Discord. Everybody, have a great night. And 69-year bust. All right, have a great night, everyone. And take care.